So let's talk about a topic that divides mountain bikers. More than frame material, more than suspension brand, more than wheel size, we're talking about price. On one side, you got big media outlets showing off bikes that cost more than a car. And on the other side, you got YouTubers swearing that a cheap Walmart bike is all you'll ever need. And then you have you stuck there in the middle wondering which bike is actually right for you. So today, that's exactly what we're gonna find out. Oh shoot! Ooh. Hike-a-biking up, getting some more ride clips. Man, it's been an epic riding day. You guys gotta watch the video till the very end. I got some shit on my mind. I'm gonna say stuff that might piss a couple people off, but I feel it's stuff that needs to be said and things that other YouTubers out there, they're too f***ing scared to say it, man. Behind me, I have 3 bikes. On one end, we have the bargain $500 Walmart bike. In the middle, we have what I've called the best value trail bike from Polygon, coming in at just over $1,500. And on the far end, we have a $5,000 dream machine built for handling everything you can throw at it. But here's the question, which one of these bikes is actually right for you? Because the answer, it might not be as simple as you think. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break down what you get at each price point, who each one of these bikes is really for, and help you figure out which one of these bikes is actually the right bike for you. And I'm gonna be taking all 3 of these bikes out on the trail to find out if that $500 budget bike can actually keep up with the rest, or if this $5,000 dream machine is really in a class of its own. Okay, let's start at the entry point. The $500 Walmart Ozark Trail Slalom FS.2. On paper, that sounds like a crazy deal for a full suspension mountain bike. And honestly, like if you're just getting into the sport, $500, that's a hard deal to pass up. But here's the catch. To keep this bike at that $500 price tag, some corners have to be cut. You're getting a heavier frame with not quite as refined of a design. You're getting mechanical disc brakes instead of hydraulic, no dropper post on there, and some slightly questionable suspension linkage right here. I've called this out for this being like a 2-piece design with a really heavy coil. You got a Shimano Q's 1x9 drivetrain, which might not be ideal for some of the single track trails I'm gonna be climbing up today. But for a beginner rider who just wants to dip their toes into the single track world without breaking the bank, this could be a solid option. All right, $500 Walmart bike. Let's try and keep an open mind. Let's get climbing on the way uphill and see how this 9-speed drivetrain does. Having some missed shifts right here, so the shifting's a little bit off. I should have checked and tried to tune this a little bit better. All right, this is the first technical little section of the climb. Let's see how these tires are gripping. Woo, already slipping. All right. Not bad, not bad. I made it up it, right? Okay, climbing up the hill. This is my first climb of the day. Gonna be doing this 3 times, so I'll get to feel the difference between each one of these bikes. But I'm trying to keep in mind who these bikes are designed for, right? This is a $500 bike designed for brand new riders just getting into the sport. So it's getting me up the trail just fine. I had a little bit of shifting issues when I shifted to that biggest cog in the back. Oh shit, don't even get to it. Dropped a chain again. But I'll blame that on myself, because you should go get your bike, tuned up, checked out of the box, make sure that, everything's working properly before you take it for its first ride. Okay, so gear number 2 is gear number 1. So I have to keep that in mind. I don't have the shifting dialed in right, so don't shift up into the very lowest gear. Other than that though, it's working okay on the way uphill. It's getting me uphill. I do have a couple small concerns. I'll get to that here just in a second. But overall, for what you're getting out of the box, $500 Walmart bike. Does it climb? Yeah. Single track trails? Sure. Does it get me to the top? Finally made it to the top of that 3 sauce climb trail. Now I'm gonna be heading down on Boundary Line. This is actually one of the top rated trails around here. Someone even said this is maybe one of the top rated trails on Pinkbike or pink bike or trail forks or whatever, period. I don't know about that, but it's a good trail. Drop that dropper post down. Now, unfortunately, that's as low as it'll go. And for those of you that don't ride mountain bikes that much, you really want your dropper post to be down as low as you possibly can to get that thing out of your way so it's not hitting you in the butt and sending you over the bars. All right, but how did this bike climb? Let's cover it real quick. So on the positive, it got me to the top of the trail. Even those pedals right there that I think wouldn't have enough grip, they definitely had enough grip for climbing on the way uphill right now. So for a newer rider, it climbs. There we go. Second thing on the positive is that the tires, even though I thought they would offer nowhere near enough grip, they slipped a couple times, but for the most part, enough grip definitely for a newer rider. And then a positive is that this rear shock is so stiff that it offers a really stiff pedaling platform, but that brings me right into the 3 negatives. Because you would think with that stiff of a shock that this thing would be pedaling on the way uphill, but the whole way uphill when you're pedaling, you just feel like mushy pedals, like you're just wasting energy. Man, this bike kind of sucks at pedaling. It's not very comfortable. And it took me a little bit to figure out why. And then I realized when you have a front fork that's blowing through its travel every time you put your weight down, I think I'm getting pedal bob out of the freaking fork as I just pedal up the hill. Just putting my weight into it when I put those pedals down. It blows through the travel on the fork and makes the bike kind of hop. Like when I am pushing down on it, I can feel that fork just creating the biggest pedal bob. It makes my pedals feel like they're gonna clip a rock because I'm smashing all the way down through that suspension travel, and it just makes the bike feel like crap. I'm losing all my efficiency to pedal. But that's not that big of a deal on the way uphill because I could just take it easy like this, shift into a nice granny gear, and just chill on the way uphill, which is probably what a newer rider is going to do anyways, right? Let's go ahead and start smashing this bike on the way downhill and see how it performs. Keep in mind, it's for newer riders. Newer riders, right? Okay, downhill, boundary line. Let's go. Shift into that lower gear. This trail starts off kind of mellow, which is perfect. Give me a feel for this bike. Whoa, even on this mellow section, I can tell this bike feels a little bit sketchy. Definitely quite a bit more basic than the bikes that I'm used to riding. Woo! Those brakes take quite a bit of power to slow down. Let's ride it just a little bit slower, like the way a beginner rider would be riding this trail, right? Because at slower speeds like this, it's not too bad. Although to go this slow, I have to be pulling those brakes in as hard as I can, so my fingers are gonna wear out. I'm gonna end up with arm pump. So let's start going just a little bit faster now. Oh, shoot. Oh. All right, right away as I start pushing the speed, the sound of that bike, the noise of that bike, it was just clanking and banging all over the trails. Oh, shoot. I hit a little jump right there and you could hear the fork just pop out. Let's try and get a little bit more air and see how this bike really handles if a beginner rider was starting to advance and push his skills just a little bit further. All right, here goes a little jump section. Oh, shoot. It like bucked me. That is sketchy. Oh man, I would not want to be a beginner rider hitting jumps on this thing. All right, this is where the trail gets more advanced. I have to walk down and show you this because riding it, the POV angle just never does it justice. So let's go ahead and walk down here. Janky, chunky, super sharp edges on those rocks. And then it just gets straight up nasty. All right, wish that seat would go down lower too. All right, let's go. It's gonna take it nice and slow and easy. Come on. The goal is just to survive. Oh, shoot. Oh, come on. Made it. Oh. Woo. So there we go, you guys. I survived the ride on the Ozark Trail On the climb, I had a couple issues that I talked about. On the way downhill on that blue flow trail, when I started off at slower speeds, the speeds that a beginner rider would be riding, it wasn't too bad. It was getting me down the hill just fine, you know. I was having fun, I would say. But as soon as I started picking up speed, the noise of that bike, just the clanking, it's hard to explain unless you ride it. It's unsettling. Oh shit. And when you go off jumps, the fork will just pop out and extend. Probably because the stanchions have been binding up. The fork has been flexing so much that you're finally releasing the pressure and it's popping out. I didn't realize until, you know, towards the end of the trail that the quick release had actually came loose. Oh shoot, I didn't even realize that. Gotta be careful with these quick releases. Front wheel is about to fall off. So I had to retighten that, put that back up. Then I went into the more advanced trail. That's when I think I was overthinking things a little bit. I really thought that this bike was gonna be the death of me on that trail. I understand GoPro's not gonna do it justice. Oh, shoot. Oh, come on. That's a sketchy section of the trail with some really big, rocky, chunky sections, and I made it down. I survived. Were the brakes stopping me enough? No. Was the suspension able to keep up? Absolutely not. I was blowing through that suspension travel. The fork was diving down, throwing me over the bars, making me squeeze the brakes even more. It was making it way sketchier, but for the $500 price point for a newer rider, it got me down the trails. I'm out here riding, I survived, and I guess I had fun. Final challenge, creek crossing. Next up, let's move on to the Polygon Siskiu T6 right here. At over 3 times the price of that Walmart, you're getting some big upgrades. Things like a dropper post. Let's see if we can get this up without making the bike fall over. Dropper post right there. Hydraulic disc brakes. Don't fall over. I knew it was gonna fall over. Come on, come on. Damn it. Stay. Woo! And a 1x10 drivetrain right back here. So it's got the Shimano Qs, but it's got a wider range 1x10 drivetrain. So one more gear on the way uphill and quite a few more teeth on here. It's also got, you know, better wheels, tires, overall components, suspension, you know, cockpit. The whole setup is just a little bit more dialed. But here's the real question. Does spending 3 times more make this bike 3 times better? Now let's take the Polygon out on the same trails, see how the ride quality compares. So on the way uphill, how did the Siskiu climb compare to the Walmart? Man, I'm so glad that fucking, that's a loud ass. Is that a motorcycle? Some fucking people in their exhaust. Let's start that over. So on the way up, how did the Siskiu T6 climb? I am so glad, you guys, that I chose to ride these bikes from the cheapest up to the most expensive, because you could just feel an immediate increase in performance. You could feel that step up in ride quality in the Siskiu, and honestly made me question, like, even if I took all these parts and components and put them onto the Walmart bike, would it give me the same ride quality? Because it was feeling good on the way uphill. Those pedals, those pins in there, those metal pins, a little bit of extra grip in there. So that was a good thing on the way uphill. That 10-speed drivetrain shifting flawlessly. No adjustments needed, right out of the box, shifting flawlessly through all the gears, right up into that 10th speed. Made it so much easier to climb up. I started smashing back downhill, and so far on the way downhill, that ride quality has just continued. The level of confidence it gives me, these tires, these dissector tires with that, you know, they're just the right amount of grip, plenty enough grip, yet still super fast rolling. And now we're kind of at this spot. This is why I stopped here to film this. We're at the largest gap in this trail. And I know GoPro is gonna make this look like nothing, right? But here goes the lip right here. You can see the lip is, you know, decently like neck high. You go off this lip, boom, from right there. So where you jump. So then you got 1, 2, 20 feet will get you to about the knuckle. So we'll call it 21, 22. You really want to clear it 22 feet to be kind of past that knuckle and land in the smooth spot. So 22-foot tabletop gap jump at the end here, or at least 22 of my feet, size 11 Crank Brothers shoe. So let's go ahead and see if I can send it and clear this jump that I wouldn't even have dreamed of trying on that Walmart bike. All right, here we go. Coming up to that big tabletop. Gotta get your speed up. We got a little setup jump. Woo! Easy. Just floated that thing like nothing. I'm telling you, man, the level of confidence this bike gives you compared to that Walmart bike, night and freaking day. I'm not trying to hype it up, you guys. Just being real with you. I think this would be a so much better gateway to get people into the sport. I think the Siskiu is gonna give you a much better representation of what gets us all stoked to come out here and ride these trails. All right, black diamond section. Let's pull the hover air out, get some drone footy. Red light, which means it's ready to go. So much faster. So much better. All right, post ride on the Siskiu T6. How did it handle the trails? Was it that much better? Man, I'm telling you, night and day difference. I'm trying not to be too much of a fanboy. I was trying to go into this with an open mind, but stepping up from that Walmart to the Polygon, first of all, suspension platform. That fork not blowing through its travel, that shock keeping you nice and stable, keeping that geometry what it's supposed to be, made this bike just so much more confidence inspiring. You just feel the step up in suspension. The tires, with this being Maxxis Dissector tires, front and rear, super fast, yet still offering me plenty enough grip. Even when I got into that more technical section, I was able to bomb down through there so much faster. Another thing that gave me a ton of confidence through that technical section and throughout the entire time riding was the brakes. These are only 2 piston brakes on here, but they're hydraulic brakes, which means that the lever doesn't require as much input. It's got a much lighter throw, so it's a lot easier for you to modulate the brakes, and the brakes have a nice strong bite to them. All in all, I could definitely feel the quality increase from the Walmart $500 bike up to the $1,500 Siskiu T6. But here's the question we keep coming back to. The T6 is 3 times the price. So for 3 times the price, is it actually 3 times better? I'm gonna answer that after I ride the Revel Rascal SL. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. But now we're stepping it up to a whole new level. This is a Revel Rascal SL. This is their newest carbon frame from Revel, so a super light carbon layup. It's gonna make the bike ride way better, or definitely different at least, out on the trail. It's got, you know, premium level suspension, wheels, tires, brakes on there, a dropper post that's quite a bit taller, which means you can slam it all the way down to the collar right there. That's important because that means when you put the seat down, you can get it all the way down out of your way. And when it's up, it can still be up in that perfect pedaling position. The whole, you know, this linkage right here, everybody raves about how good this linkage design is on this bike. And then you got the SRAM Eagle 90, not wireless, but man, this drivetrain looks good. And from what I could feel when I was getting this bike set up, it shifts really amazing as well. And this is a 1x12, so 12 gears in the back, the widest possible range, everything on this bike that should allow me to shred these trails with a lot more confidence. But once again, 3 times the price of the Polygon, like 10 times the price of that Walmart bike, or like over 10 times the price. Is it really gonna feel 10 times better? The Trail One pedals and this wolf tooth bottle cage I threw on there myself. I got links down there in the video description. This video is not sponsored. I either work directly with the companies on all this stuff, or like in the case of the Walmart bike, I just buy the bike myself. One way I continue to make these videos is by you using those affiliate links down in the description. I also ask companies for discount codes, so hop down there, use the affiliate links if you're deciding to buy something, and then use those discount codes to hopefully save you a little bit of cash. All right, Revel Rascal SL. This is the highest price, highest quality bike in the lineup today. And I can tell you right now, I can feel how much lighter it is. It's about 7 to 8 pounds lighter than the cheapest bike in the lineup. So quite a bit lighter. It's been a long time since I've rode on a carbon frame, so I'm really interested to see how it feels on the way back downhill. Right now on the way uphill, that shifting, I can just feel how crisp and clean this bike is shifting. But I will admit one thing right now, the tires on this bike, since it has a more gravity focused set of tires on it, so really big, thick knobs on the back on this Continental Xylitol and super massive knobs on this Cryptitol up front, so not as fast of rolling tires as it had on the T6. So the T6, I would say, climbs just a little bit faster because you don't feel the tires gripping so much and weighing you down. Okay, I take back what I said about the Polygon T6 climbing better. You ever have a bike that climbs so good that you forget you have more cogs on the cassette? Like I'm down here in the 10th gear pedaling away and I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel a little winded. This is my 3rd lap. And I looked down and I was like, oh shoot, I got 2 more gears. This bike is just so efficient. This is a CBF linkage right here. Combine that with a really good RockShox Super Deluxe rear shock. And this bike is just so stable. Plus you combine that with the weight and the additional stiffness and just dampening, vibration dampening you get from a carbon frame. And this bike is just like a rocket ship on the way uphill, man. Climbing so damn good. And I'm really appreciating it right now with how exhausted I am, can barely talk. So yeah, man, had to share that with you guys. So we're gonna do something a little bit different this time. I'm gonna do a full pull. This is boundary line, once again, so on that flow trail, I'm gonna do a full pull, top to bottom. Now I'll put like little chapters down there so you guys can skip over this section, but I think you guys are gonna wanna watch it because I'm gonna give you guys my real like first impressions as I'm riding it. Plus you guys will be able to see, hopefully, like how much faster I'm bombing down this trail. Let's shift down into that party gear. Starting off nice and easy, gonna take it slow, getting a feel for the bike, getting a feel for the grip of the trail, getting a feel for the suspension. Everything's feeling good. Start going a little bit faster. Okay, let me slow down, you guys, and then show you just how fast this bike gets back up to speed. It's one thing I'm noticing. Just like, it smooths out the trail so much that it's just floating over the tops of those rocks that the other bikes were getting stuck down inside of. And this is me after doing 3 laps and being gassed. Here goes that little trail gap. Boop. Woo! All right, let's head on to the Black Diamond technical chunk. Yeah, woo-hoo-hoo. Loving it, loving it. All right, Revel Rascal SL after the ride. What did I love about this bike? Could I really tell the difference? Now, there's no doubt in my mind that I was riding so much faster on the way downhill with so much more confidence. That CBF suspension linkage, that carbon frame, the high-end suspension, that awesome drivetrain, wheels, tires, grips, bars. I mean, just the entire package. But we knew this bike was going to perform better. That's not the real question here. The question we keep coming back to is, did it actually perform 3 times better than that Polygon T6 or 10 times better than the Walmart $500 bike? I mean, this bike was hands down the best bike I rode today. You could definitely feel the difference in quality. But answering that question, it gets a little bit tricky, you guys. Oh, fucking exhausted, you guys. 3 laps, 3 freaking laps up that trail to find out once and for all which one of these bikes is right for you, and if stepping up in the price range, you know, so far up, you know, 3 times the price, 10 times the price of that cheap Walmart bike is actually worth it. And here goes where I need to be brutally honest with you guys, because I think there's so many people out here on YouTube putting out these videos like sugarcoating their shit, and really at the end of the day just trying to get you guys to click an affiliate link and buy one of these bikes. But that's not me. The reason why I started this YouTube channel, the reason why I make these videos is to give you guys that honest, no bullshit feedback from an average rider like you. So let's get into it. $5,000 is undoubtedly like a shit ton of money to spend on a mountain bike. $1,500 is probably something that more people should really be looking at. But what about that $500 mountain bike? And this is where people have really been kind of hating on me in the comments, because I'm gonna be brutally honest about this $500 mountain bike. People say I'm missing the point. This is the cheapest possible way for people to get into the sport and see if they like mountain biking, and this is gonna give more people a chance to get on the trails, go ride and have fun. But that is not what I experienced today, you guys. I am not a new rider. I've been riding for a while, and I can usually shred down these trails. And riding these trails on this Walmart bike was sketchy as oh shit. And it really makes me think that, you know, if you're brand new and just getting into the sport, is this bike gonna give you an accurate representation of mountain biking and show you why we're so stoked and why we love riding so much? Oh, come on. And then that just keeps bringing me back to the Polygon Siskiu T6. And this is where a lot of people don't agree with me. $1,600. It's too much money, right? But how much do you need to spend to be able to get out on the trails, really have fun, ride with confidence, and know that it's not you that sucks at riding, it's just the bike? Because I can tell you on that Ozark trail right there, it was feeling sketchy. So if it felt sketchy for me, imagine a brand new rider. Now this Polygon, when I jumped on this Polygon after riding that $500 bike, immediately just felt so much more confidence. Woo! Easy. Just floated that thing like nothing. But it is 3 times more expensive. So I know there's a lot of people that are still gonna stick with the Ozark Trail, which is fine. We just gotta be honest with those people about what they're getting, not try and sugarcoat it, and not try and tell them that the Walmart Ozark Trail is f***ing revolutionary, right? But then moving up from the Polygon to the Revel Rascal SL. And this is where things really start to get tricky, you guys. This is a bike that when I first started riding would have been irresponsible for me to buy as a beginner rider, I think. Because yes, it would have given me the confidence. Yes, it would have rode so good for me and allowed me to just probably progress a lot quicker. But for a brand new beginner rider riding at those slower speeds, this might be a bit of overkill. But as your riding progresses and as you advance, and if you're a guy that bought the Polygon Siskiu T6, and now you're really starting to hit those bigger jumps, those bigger drops, ride with a lot more speed, man, when I hopped onto this bike, I could immediately just feel like it just accelerated off the line. It was allowing me to climb with ease. My legs were burnt after climbing the 3rd lap, and I still was just flying up that hill. On the way back downhill, so much more confidence. The suspension was just that much more premium, kind of giving me that ultimate grip, soaking up every little bump, all that trail chatter. When I got airborne, like forget about it. Like on the Walmart bike, it's freaking sketchy to jump, damn near terrifying. Oh shoot, it like bucked me. That is sketchy. On the Revel, I'm floating over those jumps, hitting them faster and faster with ease, railing around those corners, and this bike I feel like is really allowing me to reach my full potential on a mountain bike. But at the end of the day, it's not about me and which bike is good for me. It's really about you, your riding style, what you're looking to get out of a mountain bike, and be honest with the type of trails you even have around your house and how far you want to be able to take your riding. So I'm not saying any one of these bikes is necessarily wrong. We just need to be brutally honest about who each bike is right for. But that's just my opinion, you guys. At the end of the day, you really have to do what's right for you. And if you guys are looking for a more detailed breakdown on each one of these bikes, subscribe to the channel. Those videos will be coming soon.